Hello, everyone. Welcome to Sanchat Mochan Hanuman Temple. This is night 7 of our readings of the Ramayana. And it is titled, Hanuman Returns to Rama. Thanks for being here. Hanuman climbed to the top of Mount Arista and once more leaped over the ocean. He flew through the clouds as before, and as he reached the other side, let out a great roar of triumph. On the opposite shore, Hanuman's companions waited patiently for his return. They heard his victorious cry and knew that he must have been successful. As he landed, they rushed to meet him, gathering around him with hands folded in greeting and offerings of roots and fruits. Hanuman cried, "Sita is found!" And they all sat down in a comfortable place to hear his story. "No one is equal to you in courage or strength. Thanks to you, we can be sure of receiving Rama's grace," pronounced Angad. "Now tell us everything so that we can decide what to do next." Hanuman told them all that had happened, leaving out no details save Sita's personal message for Rama. In excitement, the monkeys proclaimed they should all go to Lanka to kill Ravana and rescue Sita. All were in favor, but Jambavan, the aged bear, wisely intervened. "My friends, we were instructed to find Sita, nothing more. I don't doubt our capacity to finish the job, but Rama has vowed to win back Sita himself. We must leave that honor to him." All agreed with Jambavan's advice, so they set off at once for Kishikinda to give the news to Ram, leaping through the air with Hanuman at their head. Near to Kishikinda was a garden called Madhuvana, famous for its wild honey. They decided to rest there and replenish their strength after having fasted for so long in the wilderness. They also felt they deserved a celebration. Monkeys love to get intoxicated on wild honey, and soon they had all consumed the honeycombs. They celebrated with abandon, breaking trees, wrestling, laughing, and crying, and trampling all over the beautiful garden of Madhuvana. An elderly monkey called Dadimukta, appointed by Sugriva to look after the garden, did his best to ward them off, but he and his assistants were severely beaten. He ran to Sugriva to complain. When Sugriva heard that Hanuman and his party were misbehaving, he understood the situation very well. "Do you know what this means?" he laughed. "It means they have found Sita. Tell them they are forgiven and that I want to see them immediately." By the time Dadi Mukha got back, he found the monkeys in a more sober state. He apologized to them and passed on Sugriva's command. In a single bound, they reached Kishikinda and gathered at the feet of their king. Ram and Lakshman had been informed and came hurrying to hear the good news. Sugriva stretched and curled his tail in delight. It was a joyful occasion when Hanuman was able to make his report before Ram. Afterwards, Ram and Lakshman took Hanuman along with them to their cave at Prasravana, where Rama was able to question Hanuman more closely and hear at length about Sita. Hanuman narrated everything. At the right moment in his story, he produced the jewel entrusted to him by Sita. Rama pressed it to his heart with tears in his eyes. "This jewel was given to Sita at her wedding by her father, King Janak. By seeing it, I see Sita. Go on, tell me again and again whatever Sita said to you." "She begged you to act fast, but she cannot survive much longer. I offered to bring her to you on my back, there and then, but she said that it would not be right. She wanted you personally to come and defeat Ravana, then carry her back to Ayodhya in glory." Hanuman went on to deliver Sita's personal message to Ram about the time he had painted her face and her final plea that he not waste a moment, for she would not survive more than a month. "Take me to her at once," cried Rama. "Now that I know where she is, I do not want to delay a moment longer." Hanuman, I cannot repay you, said Ram, hugging him. I have nothing else to give than this embrace. Now we must consider how we are to cross the ocean, and this puzzles me. There is no place now for doubt or sorrow, said Sugriva. We must build a bridge to Lanka. Then Ravana stands no chance against us. Transform your grief into anger, Ram, and nothing will stand in your way. You are right, Sugriva, agreed Rama. One way or another I will find a way across the sea, even if I have to dry it up. Tell me, Hanuman, of the fortifications of Lanka, how many gates are there and how strong is their garrison? A high wall surrounds the city, though in places I have broken it down. It has 4 gates, each guarded by massive doors and catapults, and is surrounded by deep moats infested with alligators. The city is built on top of a steep mountain clothed in forests and defended by millions of heavily armed warriors skilled in warfare. Now the moon is in conjunction with Hasta, said Rama. If your army departs this very day, we will be sure of success. He took command and through Sugriva issued orders to his generals. In excitement, monkeys streamed out from the valleys and hills surrounding Kishikinda, assembling before their leaders. Soon a huge army set off south, spreading out like a tide. Day and night they marched, feasting on wild fruits and honey as they went. Rama rode at Hanuman's back and Lakshman on Angad's. After several days, they had their first sight of the sea, its foam-flecked surface reaching to the horizon and seeming to join the sky in a single limitless expanse. They camped on the beach and Rama sat with Lakshman as the sun sank to the horizon. His thoughts turned to Sita. What would she be doing at this moment? Perhaps the same breeze that blew from the sea had touched her. Sita is weak from fasting, he said, and I fear that we may arrive too late. We must find a way to cross this ocean soon. Lakshman comforted Ram as the sun slid over the horizon. Across the sea, Ravana sat late in his council chamber. Shifting uncomfortably, he reported to his ministers the extent of the damage done by Hanuman, and asked their advice in the light of the reports coming in of a vast army of monkeys approaching the opposite shore. Rama will find a way to get across. How do you propose we defend ourselves? Our armies stand at the ready, one general boasted, so what have we to fear? We have crushed the whole universe, even the court of Indra, king of heaven. What do we fear from mere humans and monkeys? Hanuman caught us unaware, said another. This time it will be different. I will kill Ram and Lakshman and all the monkeys on my own. The rest of you can stay here drinking wine without worry. They brandished their swords, but Vibhishan, Ravana's younger brother, restrained them. Rama is not so easily defeated, he warned. It is dangerous to underestimate your enemy. Do you forget how he killed Kara? I advise that Sita be returned. That way we shall avert disaster. Disgusted at his brother's words, Ravana dismissed everyone and retired to his palace. But the following morning, Vibhishan again sought Ravana. Brother, ever since you kidnapped Sita, ill omens have been seen. Sacred fires are obscured by smoke. Cows do not give milk. Donkeys shed tears, and crows cry from the roofs of the buildings. Everyone blames your sin of abducting Sita, but they dare not tell you. You must return her to Ravana. I'm not afraid of Ravana, rejoined Ravana angrily, and I will never return Sita. Ravana had become a slave to his infatuation for Sita. The people of Lanka, even those close to him, openly disapproved of his behavior, increasing his unease. Calling together his ministers and generals, he asked for their advice. As you know, I have kidnapped Sita, wife of Rama, and I am passionately in love with her, though she is not yet inclined to share my bed. Now Ram is on his way with a great army of monkeys. We fear no monkey or human, yet I need your advice. How can we avoid returning Sita? First to speak was Kumbhakarna, the dangerous brother of Ravana, who slept 6 months at a time under the spell of Brahma and had recently awoken. This kind of kidnapping Sita was unworthy of you. You should have consulted us first. Nevertheless, I shall atone for your mistake by killing all your enemies. So rest at ease, you will not lose Sita. Ravish her by force and have done with it, interjected another demon, impatient with Ravana's infatuation. I cannot, replied Ravana, because Brahma has cursed me, that if I ever molest a woman against her will, my head will burst into 100 pieces. In fear of this, I will not violate Sita. No matter, I will destroy Ram, as I destroyed all who oppose me. Vibhishan can no longer remain silent. Give up this folly. Sita is like a poisonous snake around your neck. Return her to Rama. Kumbhakarna cannot defeat Ram. He boasts because he has never actually faced him in battle, so he does not realize how powerful he is. I have defeated Indra himself, protested Indrajit. So why do you think I cannot defeat a mere prince of humans? You are a coward, frightening us for no good reason. Child, you speak nonsense, retorted Vibhishan. You are the enemy of your father because you counsel him to seek his own death and yours too. No doubt death is what you deserve, but you must give back Sita and let us live in peace. These words made Ravana furious. I would rather live with a snake than a supposed friend devoted to my enemy, he roared. Although you are my brother, you cannot be trusted because you scheme for your own self-interest. Vibhishan blazed with anger as he rose into the air and hovered above Ravana. I am your friend and servant, older brother, who does not wish to see you killed by Rama. However, you ignore my advice. Therefore, protect yourself and your subjects as best you can. I am leaving you. I wish you well. So saying, Vibhishan flew from Lanka in direction of Rama. Let's see, we may be missing some paragraphs here, but a messenger has reached Sugriva. So the messenger in the form of a bird. The bird reached Sugriva's camp. Ravana sends his greetings with these words. I have never harmed you, Sugriva. So the bird is sending a message from Ravana to Sugriva. I have never harmed you, Sugriva. You are like a brother to me. Why do you oppose me? Go back to Kishikinda, for you will never conquer Lanka. Monkeys seized the bird demon to tear off its wings, but Rama stopped them. He would not allow a messenger to be harmed. Tell Ravana that he is not my brother, Sugriva told the bird. He is an enemy of Rama, and therefore my enemy, and he deserves death. Lanka will be burned to ashes, and Rama will slay him and his brother. Rama waited beside the ocean in deep concentration, determined that the sea god would allow him passage or perish at his hands. 3 days and nights passed, but the sea god did not appear. Rama's eyes glowed red with anger. It seems this world respects anger, not patience. Therefore, today I will split apart the ocean and dry up its waters, destroying all that live within it. He took up his bow and released a flaming arrow that seared across the waves, threatening the lives of all aquatics and making the ocean boil. Ram fitted a second arrow to his bow. The skies darkened and the wind roared. Oceans, rivers, and lakes trembled as the heavens thundered and lightning flashed. From the waters arose the figure of the sea god, sparkling with gems and entwined with serpents in the company of hosts of river gods. He spoke to Ram with joined hands. I will allow your monkey's passage. Tell the monkey named Nila, who was born of the universal architect Vishvakarma, to build upon my surface a causeway of rocks and trees, and I will support it. The sea god then descended into the waves. Ram summoned Nila and instructed him to supervise the construction of the bridge to Lanka. Work began, and by the end of the first day, the monkeys had progressed many miles out to sea, and the causeway held. After 5 days, they completed the crossing to Lanka. The causeway was wide, straight, and level, and crossed the deeps as the Milky Way spans the skies. When all was complete, Ram and Lakshman, riding on the backs of Hanuman and Angad, led the army across. Monkeys leapt through the air or swam alongside them, roaring with excitement. The great army assembled on the beaches of Lanka, finding ample provisions in the lush coastal forests as the sun sank in a crimson sky. Refreshed, they set off in the morning for the city of Lanka. Outside the city, Ram drew the army into the formation of a man with Rishaba on its right arm, Gandamadana on its left, Sugriva at its legs, Jambavan at its waist, Nila at its heart, and himself and Lakshman at its head. Sukha, the spy, terrified of being caught again, observed the crossing of the monkeys from the sky and flew back to Ravana. I delivered your message to Sugriva, but was nearly killed in the process. The monkeys are fierce and violent, but Ram protected me. He has already reached Lanka after bridging the ocean. The monkeys and bears with him number millions and are huge like mountains and clouds covering the earth. Even now they are at the walls of the city. Restore Sita to Rama, or be prepared to give battle immediately. I will never return Sita. When Ram hears the music of my bow, he will wish he had never come to Lanka. Ravana sent 2 more demon spies to gather detailed information on the disposition of Rama's army. They left under cover of darkness and in disguise penetrated deep into enemy ranks, bewildered by the size of an army which spread from one horizon to the other and could not be measured. Vibhishan discovered them and brought them before Ram. In fear of their lives, they confessed to Ram that they had been sent as spies. I have no objection, laughed Ram. Vibhishan will show you all you wish to know. Then you must go back and tell Ravana that tomorrow, at dawn, I will lose my anger upon him. They were released and soon reported all this to Ravana. These 4, Ram, Lakshman, Sugriva, and Vibhishan, can tear this city from its foundations, they reported. Do not trifle with them, my lord. Return Sita without delay and sue for peace. Even if the whole universe attacks me, I will not return Sita, stormed Ravana. Take me onto the battlements and show me this great army. They climbed to the top of the highest tower and looked down upon Ram's troops, surging like the sea at the foot of Lanka's golden cliffs. Sukha pointed out to Ravana the leading monkey warriors and described each of their strengths, estimating their numbers at many hundreds of thousands of millions. When he saw their strength, Ravana was shaken. You should not have praised those brutes in front of me, he snapped. What fools am I surrounded with? Be gone and do not return, both of you, and consider yourselves lucky to keep your lives. Ravana sent yet more spies, wanting every detail of Ram's movements. They too were captured and humiliated before being sent back to Ravana. He was now thoroughly alarmed, but firmly set against surrender. He went deep into his palace, where he sent for the sorcerer Vidyujiva. In his deranged mind, Ravana thought he might persuade Sita to marry him if he could convince her that Ram was dead. So he asked Vidyujiva to conjure up a false image of Ram's head and a golden bow similar to Ram's. He entered the Ashoka grove, eager to see Sita's beautiful face, and found her beneath the surviving tree, sitting on the bare ground, with her head bent in sorrow. I bring you news of your husband, Ravana began. He is dead. Now nothing stands in the way of your union with me. This is what happened. Last night, Ram camped with his army on the opposite shore. During the night, Prahasta infiltrated their camp with soldiers, armed with swords, javelins, spears, axes, clubs, and arrows, and slaughtered them. Ram was found asleep and beheaded. Vibhishan was taken captive, and Sugriva and Hanuman were killed. There is not a warrior left alive who has not fled in panic. Ravana then produced the false head of Ram, covered in dust and blood, and placed it on the ground in front of Sita, and next to it the bow. Here is Ram's severed head and his once mighty bow. Now you will submit to me. Sita recognized the head as bearing all the distinctive marks of Ram: his noble brow, his lotus-like eyes, and the distinctive jewel he wore in the knot of his hair. She threw herself on the ground. Now I have no reason to live, for I have seen my husband die before me. O Ram, astrologers predicted that you would have a long life, but now it is cut short. Why don't you speak to me? This girl who you married in your youth has turned out to be the cause of your death. Kill me, Ravana. Do one worthy deed in your life and unite this wife with her husband. At this moment, Ravana was interrupted by an urgent message from one of his generals, calling for his presence, and hurried off. As soon as he had gone, a curious thing happened. Ram's head and bow vanished into thin air. This was not seen by Sita, but by her friend Sarama, the wife of Vibhishan, one of the demon attendants. Dear Sita, she reassured, do not be distressed by what you saw. It was a wicked illusion created by Ravana. Ram is alive and well. I have heard that he has crossed the sea and is this very moment camped outside the city walls with all his forces. Lanka is full of preparations for war. Squadrons march on the streets, weapons are polished, elephants decorated, horses yoked. Everywhere is the sound of drums and the rattling of chariots. But they will be no match for Ram. Soon your husband will take the city and win you back. If you like, I can make myself invisible by my magic art and take a message to him. Dear friend, thank you for your words of encouragement, replied Sita. If you want to make me happy, please find out what Ravana is planning to do with me, for I am mortally afraid that he will soon have me killed. So Rama left, returning soon with news of Ravana. Ravana seeks advice from his ministers, she reported, and all urge him to return you to Ram and make peace. But Ravana is determined to keep you, even if he dies in the attempt. Therefore, it is certain that Rama will slay him soon. A demon called Malyavan, grandfather of Ravana's wife, tried to advise Ravana. A wise ruler does not fight one of greater strength, but he makes peace. You should return Sita and make all alliance with Ram that will benefit everyone. The Creator brought into this world two orders of beings, the divine and the demonic. In the great struggle between them, the divine has the upper hand, being defended by Lord Vishnu, until the wheel of time turns to Kali Yuga, the Iron Age, when demonic forces take control. Until then, us demons are destined to be losers. You are about to be vanquished by the gods, who are working through the monkeys born from them. Moreover, Ram is Vishnu himself in human form, and he has come to destroy you. Submit to him and bring us all good fortune. I hear nothing you say, protested Ravana angrily. Rama is a mere human being whose father has forsaken him, and who relies upon monkeys. What have I to fear from such a wretch? I will kill him and Lakshman within a few days. Hearing these foolish words, Malyavan left Ravana to his fate. Ravana then posted his generals at the four gates of the city and prepared to defend Lanka. Satisfied that all was ready, he retired to his private apartments to be with his women. All right, and that concludes night 7, reading 7 of the Ramayana. I hope you'll join us tomorrow for night 8. Thanks for tuning in. Om.